I would like you to start with this question of the day. The first thing I want you to do is just be able to solve some pretty basic expressions by plugging in an x value. So please do that. We're going to be talking about lesson 10.2. This is about quadratic functions and how to graph them. The entire chapter 10 is over quadratic functions and graphing parabolas and putting them so that you can see some of the techniques. So I want to go over some of the properties. And so the properties of a parabola, the first thing you need to know is that it is a second degree polynomial. So when you look at this right here, y equals a x to the second plus bx plus c, you can see that we have the degree of 2. A degree 2 polynomial will be graphed as a parabola, which is like the U shape. It can be upward or it can be downward. And the way we know this, if it's going to open up, okay, it opens up if the a value, so right here we see if the a value is greater than 0, so that means not negative, which we could call positive, right? Then it's going to open upward like this. It's positive. It's a smiley face. Happy, positive. Get it? And then if a is negative, if this is negative, it's a frown face. It's going to open down. It's negative. It opens downward. All right, so that's huge. When you look at the equation, you should know, what does this parabola look like? That's the first thing that you should notice. Is it going to be upward or is it going to be downward? The next thing is if the value of a is greater than 1, meaning like 3 or 4, or it could be negative 4. It's the absolute value has to be bigger than 1, because the negative is just saying if it's going to open down or up. But the actual value, the absolute value of it is greater than 1, then that means it's going to stretch the parabola. So it's going to make it really long and skinny. It's going to stretch it or make it narrower. If it's like a fraction less than 1, okay, the absolute value, so it could be negative or it could be positive, doesn't matter. If this number, the absolute value of it is a fraction or less than 1, then it's going to make your parabola wider, fatter. It shrinks it, making it wider. So it's kind of pushing it, shrinking it. Okay, so those are two things to look at. So if I was to give you a little quiz, pop quiz, y equals 4x to the second, is this going to be narrower or wider than the parent graph? And the parent graph is just the normal y equals x squared. The 4 is going to what? Do what to this graph? It's going to stretch it, so it's going to make it narrower or skinnier. All right, if I did y equals 1/3 x to the second, that's going to open up because it's a positive, and it's going to shrink it or make the parabola wider. Okay? The axis of symmetry is something new today. We talked a little bit about it, but it's kind of like, where do we cut this in half to make it so it's symmetrical on both sides? So the axis of symmetry, we talked about it just being a line like right through the middle, and that's what it is, but I'm going to tell you how to find it, because there's an equation to that line. That line is a pretty unique line, and we want to be able to find it. So the equation of this line is x equals negative b over 2a. Every single problem has the same formula for axis of symmetry. That is one you're going to memorize. Negative b over 2a. Negative b over 2a. Say it with me. X equals negative b over 2a. One more time. Good job. All right, we're going to go to the next one. All right, here's a problem that you would have seen on your last homework on 10.1. I've drawn the parent graph in here. This is just for parent graph means we have this situation, x and y. If x is 0, boom, y is 0. Our vertex or our minimum point is right at the origin. If I put in 1, I'm going to get 1. If I put in negative 1, I'm going to get 1. So I have those points. And then if I put in 2, I'm going to get 4. If I put in negative 2, I'm going to get 4. So that's what I've graphed right here. Now, I want us to think about what all of this means with what I just showed you. This negative means what? It's going to flip. It's going to be a flipped parabola. So it's going to be a frowny face. It's negative. It's upset. So it's upside down parabola. The 1/5, what does the 1/5 do? It makes it wider or shrinks. So it's going to be fatter parabola. That's not really a math term, but we'll just call it fatter, okay? And then you can always do your XY table if you want. Put in 0, I'm going to get 0. If I put in, let's say 5, strategically picking my points, 5 squared is going to get me 25. 25 times negative 1/5 is going to be negative 5. If I put in negative 5, I'm going to also get negative 5. So let's plot those and see what we get. 0, 0, over 5, down 5, and back 5, down 5. So do you see, let's see how well I can draw this curve. Oh, all right. So do you see how that has been flipped? And it's also wider, or it's shrinking. It's not growing as quickly as the other one. All right, so that's kind of a review from yesterday. Now I want to give you a little bit more information on this special stuff called axis of symmetry and the vertex. Axis of symmetry, I gave you the formula and we practiced it. It's x equals negative b over 2a. This is an equation of a vertical line. X equals negative b over 2a. So if we had, let's say, y equals 2x squared plus 4x plus, oh, I want to come up with one that works. Hold on. Let's just do, oh, I can't get it to delete. All right, let's do, oh goodness, I'm having a hard time. Hold on, I'm gonna